Hello, my name is Coach Everts. Been a registered financial advisor for many decades, and I also own my own business or businesses for the last 50 years. And I want to share with you the story of life here that impacts all of our lives. This is just not one of us. This is all of us. You know, The Wizard of Oz is a great story. For you that don't know who the Wizard of Oz is, yeah, I might be a little dated, but they were going down the yellow brick road. They had dreams or ambitions that they wanted to fulfill, and they knew if they got to the Emerald City, the city of Oz, and talked to the Wizard of Oz, they could have all their dreams met, whether it was courage or whether it was a brain or getting back to Kansas or whatever. And that's how life goes. But there's more to life than just one yellow brick road. There's more than one way to make money. And a lot of times we're in the wrong system if we desire to have success in life and have most of our life to enjoy ourselves. So this presentation is really about life and about what people go through. And, through history, times have changed. I mean, we back when people owned their own business, whether it was a farm or a little store in a town or something like that. And then came, the Great Depression, Industrial Revolution, and that really created jobs. And people think that jobs have been around forever. Well, they really haven't been around forever as we know them today. In fact, most of the industrial jobs have left the United States, for instance, and have gone elsewhere. So today, what we're faced with is a whole different economy than we've ever been faced with before in history. And one thing about history, as we all know, things change. They don't stay the same. And if we don't evolve, if we don't, become part of that new economy, so we're just going to be left behind. And so that's what I would like to discuss with you here this morning and take a few moments of your time and give you a little educational piece. Okay, let's move on here. The system for the masses, this is for most people, is to work 40 hours for 40 years or beyond. Most people today are working beyond 40 years. And they're putting in more than 40 hours of their time to make money. You're exchanging your time for money. All right, your life is your time. The system for the masses, here's how it works. Number one, and I'm just going to go through these really quick. You grow up, right? We all grow up, we go to school. Most of us get a degree. We get a good job or career. We work for 40 years or more in the system, trading time for money. Take your allotted vacations, meaning you can't take vacations when you want necessarily. You got to take them when you're told to take them because you're working as an employee. You save and you invest your money. You hope to be in the top 5% of retired people who've made it financially and hope your health stays good so you can enjoy your golden years for a while. Being in the senior care field, I want to just stop here for a second. And a lot of people are not healthy enough to even enjoy their money when they get old, and that's why it's critical to retire as early as you can. And number 8, they pray the stock market and interest rates stay up so you're not forced to go back to work. And we see that right now. This is 2014. Since 2008, a lot of senior citizens, a lot of people have had to go back to work because they don't have enough interest that they're getting on their money to live without going into the principal. And then they really hurt themselves. Uh, Number 9, you make sure your affairs are in order. You have a will and a trust or a trust and you hopefully have bought a prepaid funeral plan so that doesn't become a burden on your children. And then number 10, which is kind of the interesting part, is we've all gone through this cycle of 40 hours for 40 years, and most people are worn out by that time. They're tired. Many people don't even like what they do, or they don't like their job anymore, and yet they're stuck. But here's the thing I find interesting is number 10. You teach your children and grandchildren to follow the 40-40 plan like you've done or like I've done, right? We teach them to do something that we didn't even like ourselves. Why would we do that we have to ask ourselves as people, why would we do that to our kids, our grandkids? Because we don't know anything better. Um, we need to teaching our kids about work and money. It's kind of a lost art, is teaching our kids, it's okay to be an entrepreneur. I remember as a young guy, I used to go out and you see that young man there washing windows. Well, I used to go out and do that. I used to go out and pull weeds. I used to go out and find different ways of making money as a young guy, get paper routes, mow lawns. My folks did not have a lot of money, so if I wanted money, I had to go out and figure out how to get it. And so I was kind of an entrepreneur that way, in going out to find money. In fact, you remember that I even had lemonade stands, like the little gal there. She probably had a lemonade stand. And see, we start out that way, don't we? We really do. We start out as kind of like entrepreneurs, and then we get older, we get an education, and then we move on to a job, and then we become stuck for 40 or 50 years, and we wonder what happened. I'm not going to go through all of this. This is a pretty complicated slide. You can stop and read these statistics. These are crazy, folks. Whatever happened to the American dream? People are husband and wife are both working, and usually one in the couple there, a husband and wife, is working 2 or 3 jobs and still can't make it. And college graduates right now, a statistic here a while back, 40-some% of them can't even find a job in the field in which they study. That's a problem. And by the way, if you haven't got a problem yet in your job, you're very fortunate. And so I would be cautious if I were you, because you don't know what's going on behind the scenes, and you really do need to protect yourself and have some type of backup plan, okay? And that's straight from the mouth of a financial advisor. Not just me, but all financial advisors would tell you that same thing. Dreams are elusive. We all want dreams, don't we? We all want things that are wonderful in our lives, and so we can do what we want to do, where we want to do it at, right? With who we want to do it at. We don't want to be constrained. We don't want to be told when to do things as people, but we are our entire lives. We're told to do things, and we give up our dreams. Why? Because our income circle here does not match our dream circle. When our income circle does not match our dream circle, we give up our dreams, and we lead a settle for life. We just settle for the way life is. We just hope that things will get better instead of doing something about it. And I'm talking to you here today because if you're the type of person that wants to do something about your life and to change your life, then maybe you got to do something just a little different than what you've done in the past, because you can't keep doing the same thing again and again and again and think the result will change, because it will not. Income circle dictates how you live your dreams, and that's what we're talking about here today, is how to increase this income circle. Again, in 40 hours for 40 years, a typical day is that you're at home and to work and to 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 home and so forth and so on. A typical paycheck. This is from the Department of Labor Bureau and Labor Statistics and Social Security Administration. Folks, this is from the government itself. The average family, husband and wife, working one full-time job and one part-time job. The family's income is about $63,000. Now, if yours isn't that much, you got a real problem, right? If you got a little bit more than that, you still got a real problem. The fact of the matter is, what you need in the bank is $3 to $5 million if ever you want to retire and maintain a lifestyle, a middle-class lifestyle. That's the absolute truth. And so the net income out of this $63,000 here is $4,136.50. Well, what's a typical day look like? Well, you're spending 8 hours sleeping. I'm not just saying you, everyone who works a job. 1 hour to shower, get ready for work, and hope to grab something out the door to eat. And 30 to 60 minutes drive, a commute to work. And they work 8.5 hours when you figure in a 30-minute lunch that you have to add on to that 8 hours. You don't get that normally. And 30 to 60 minutes to drive home from work. So 1 hour to prepare dinner then, right? So now you've got 18 to 20 hours a day sleeping and working. Right? That's what you've done, sleeping or working, 18 to 20 hours a day. That doesn't leave you much time with the grandkids, does it? Or your children, or doing things you want to do. So that $4,136 net income, how's that break down in an average? Now, this is an average monthly budget. Well, you got a $1,200 house payment, insurance, and maintenance, right? That's included, $1,200. Heating, air, cable, and other utilities, $600. Cell phones or other phones, $140. Barber, hairstylist, and nails. Okay, I put that in there. Well, actually, it's in there, and it's $85. Groceries and personal items, $600. Car payments and gas and maintenance, $800. Clothes and shoes, $90. Healthcare, $450. Healthcare meaning ancillary things you have to buy, your medicine at your store, or maybe over-the-counter stuff that isn't covered by your insurance. Credit cards, $275. Credit card debt is a huge problem in people's lives, especially around Christmas time, because they're living off of other people's money. I call it OPM, other people's money. You're borrowing, that's not your money, and you're using it. Now you got to pay it back with this huge interest, right? And so it's a constant revolving door. It's not a fun door. And so you have a college fund, $120. Birthdays, showers, and other special events, we put that in there, $125, kind of miscellaneous fund. And a Christmas fund, all right, $100. Do you notice in here there really isn't a vacation fund? That's very interesting. I looked at this. So the total left is that you're in the hole $449. And that's $5,388 a year that you're going backwards, okay? And so that makes it difficult to get ahead. And then emergency fund, and you add that in there, and so 6 months net income is $24,000, and you can look at this slide. Savings, you should be saving, you should have vacations, and I put 200 in there. But before you even get to that, you're in the whole $449, over $5,000 a year. And this is a fact, folks. This is a fact. We can deny it, we can not believe it, but it doesn't change the truth, doesn't change the facts. And so the additional income needed per month, adding all the normal stuff that's in all of our lives, is about $3,719 a month, okay? And so your negative now is with that negative, you're $44,628 in the hole if you want to lead a middle class lifestyle. And this is on an average income, right? An average income of $63,091. And if you're making that in that vicinity, you're going in the hole towards your retirement at about $44,000 a year. So you need more income. Now, most people don't have any more time to make any more income. They're already strapped on time, right? They're going to work. They're spending 18 to 20 hours a day right now sleeping and working. Well, if you take some of that sleeping and time, or you take that extra time and you spend it on yourself, meaning 30 minutes, an hour a day, or 2 hours a day if you can squeak that in, is to invest in yourself a way of making more money. And doing that at your home, right? You need a home-based business. Why do I say that? Because you're going to get tax advantages you don't have now. It's going to probably help you keep more of the money you're making at your job right now, because you'll have more write-offs. You understand? You can have a home office. You can do all kinds of wonderful things, and I'm not going into that today. You can go to your accountant, or you can look it up online and see what those benefits are. All right, so I really wanted to cover this and help you understand if you're working a full-time job and a part-time job, and you're making around $63,000 or more, or a little less. I mean, at $63,000, again, you're going in the hole if you want to lead a normal middle-class life, about $44,000, over $44,000 a year. And that's from the Department of Labor Bureau, a Bureau of Labor Statistics and Social Security Administration, okay? So, again, what happens is we give up our dreams, we lead a settled-for life, and live a life of quiet desperation in a rut. I mean, we're in a rut. We don't know how to get out of the rut. We're stuck. It's like a car being stuck in the mud. What do? I mean, what do we do about statistics like this when our chances of success is only about 5% of making it, if we're lucky? I mean, if we get a big inheritance or something, right? And, Social Security came out with this statistic back in around 2000, well, April of 2000, and it came right from their source. And so you can read that. People just don't make it. They end up usually in three categories. They usually end up dead. They don't even make it to retirement, or they're broke when they get there, or when they get there, they got to go back to work. This is real life, folks. So it all comes down to money, doesn't it? Money rules. Whether we like it or not, or try to, shine it over, whatever. Money rules, folks. If you don't have enough money, it controls you. You don't control it. You need enough money so you can control it, and you can tell it how you want to live instead of it telling you how you live, right? The money market is the largest market in the world, folks. The Forex market, as it's called, is $4 trillion. Well, you can see here how big it is compared to the stock market and the treasury market. It dwarfs them, folks. It's a $4 trillion market compared to just billions. And it's the largest market in the world. And so what does that mean? That means it's the number one product of all time. What do I mean by that? Everybody has some of it. Has this product, money, right? It has a big impact on their life. They need this product. And everybody wants more of it. They need more of it, as I just demonstrated to you. And everybody's almost willing to do anything to get it. What are you doing right now, if I ask you that question, to get money? Are you working a job? Are you giving up your time for money? Are you exchanging your life for money? Okay, that's what people do, right? That's what we all do. And we're willing to do almost anything. Look at the different occupations around what people are willing to do for money. To what? To support their family, to try to get, have a decent life and not be stressed out. Okay, that's just remember, products are number one money product. Money is the number one product of all time. Everybody in the world uses it, and they need more of it, and they're almost willing to do anything to get it. Now, what is your money machine system? Now, this is a concept I developed. Where do you get your money from? Going to a money machine and you're putting in your card and you're putting in your passcode there, or your, whatever you're used to get to a money machine from your bank. And you're putting in your money code, and out comes the money. Well, where do you think it comes from? Was it come from your checking account, or are you borrowing it? Well, it's coming from somewhere. And the question is, what kind of money machine do you have? What's your money machine system? The system. Do you work 40 hours or more? Right? You work for money. That's simple, right? Money doesn't work for you. You work for money if you're working a job. And money machine system number 2 says that you're working 40 hours, working 40 hours for 40 years or more, okay? The money machine system number 2 says work for 4 years or less. So what would you rather do? Let's stop here for a second. Work 40 years or more to accomplish something, or work 4 years or less and accomplish more. That makes sense, right? You're going, well, I'd rather work 4 years or less. Absolutely, so would everybody. And have the rest of their life to enjoy themselves. Okay, that makes sense. You just remember, when you barter your time for money, you barter your life for money. That's the way it is. People like Bill Gates, he tells money what to do. Money doesn't tell him what to do. He tells it what to do and where to go, instead of it telling him what to do and where to go. Okay? And that's what we're talking today to you about, is how to have that in your life. What is your money machine? Money machine system number 1. We've went through this. You went to work. You spent 40 hours for 40 years. You spend your life. We all do that again. And most all your life is gone, and then you're old, and you try to enjoy your life on the money you've saved or your pension, right? Why not retire early, folks? People do it all the time, and you can do it too by changing your money system, right? And quit exchanging so much time for money, and get into the right system where money is made. Doesn't that make sense? And so that's what you really want to do. And then you don't end up like this. All right? These are real facts, folks. Money machine system number 1, where that working that 40 hours for 40 years, and you never see your spouse, right? Or your children enough, or your grandchildren, or whatever your situation is. Or you're working 2 jobs, and you got a little baby here, and there's books out on this. What if boomers can't retire? Boomers I'm in the boomer stage, right? And everybody below the boomer stage, I'm talking about those who are like 40 or less years of age, you're in worse shape than the boomers are. Well, why can't they retire? Because they can't keep up the same lifestyle without working. They haven't saved enough. They got too much debt, all right? Life magazine has come out with this, you know? I mean, it's like people were stressed out, and we see senior citizens over here going back to work, and young people can't find a job, or if they're educated, they can't, most of them can't find a job, and they're in the field of their study in college. And we keep you know, in America, we a lot of times think that the old ways are still here to make money. You know, the factory jobs where you're going to work 20, 30, 40 years and retire. Well, folks, are not there anymore, right? We're in a different economy. We're in a world economy, and if you're still stuck, you really do want to change, okay? Because the world is revolving around you, is evolving, it's changing, and you need to, you know, if you care about your future, you need to change it a little bit, okay? So instead of in the money machine number 2, money works for the people instead of people working for the money. It's called residual income or royalty income. And what is that? You spend some time creating the residual income, and then it continues to come in. It's like a Social Security income or any other pension. It continues to come in over and over and over again. The nice thing about residual income, for those who understand it, is the fact that you can get it very quickly. You don't have to work 40 or 50 or 60 years. In fact, if you work really hard for about a year or 2, or 3 or 4 in that area, you can create residual income in your life right away and buy back your time freedom, right? So you can do whatever you want to do younger. I think that's important to understand. And folks, the choice you have is to work your entire life and keep working probably, or build residual income earlier, right? And there's ways of doing that. Then you can live your dreams while you're as young as you're going to be at that point, right? There's some people listening to this who are older, like myself, who I'm older, I'm in my 60s, who are saying, you know, I don't have much life left, I don't think. You know, 0 to 80 and I'm out of here. 80 years old, most people are gone, right? Expired. And so you have a real issue here, like myself, and that is we need to really speed up and work harder even than the, you know. But the point is, if you really want to live your dreams, don't fake yourself out. Do not fake yourself out. Life's a reality check, folks. And you don't want to end up at the end of your life here thinking, oh man, I got it all together. Because the moment you think you got it all together, that's the moment you realize you do not have it all together. Okay? And you look at these folks here who are enjoying themselves. Very few people, like I said, get to do that, but that's what we all want to do. But again, you're older. Why not be younger and do it? Why not have your dreams while you're younger? And not just be able to take a vacation once in a while. How about being able to take a vacation every month or so if you'd like, and not even put a stress on your budget? How about being debt-free? What's wrong with being debt-free? Instead of living on OPM or other people's money and credit cards and stuff, why not be debt-free? Without any stress whatsoever. When you get up in the morning, you just decide what you want to do, where you want to do it. You want to go out in your boat here, or maybe you want to go buy a new car, or maybe you got a new car and you want to just, you know, just want to go out for a nice drive, and you got a nice place along the ocean here, or maybe 2 or 3 houses and plenty of money in the piggy bank. What is wrong with that, folks? Well, you know, most people, again, do not get to do this at working 40 hours for 40 years. A tiny percentage. And it probably won't be you. Just be honest, probably won't be you. I've been a financial advisor for a long time, and the people that have the money do something different. They do leverage. They build that residual income, okay? Or interest income, whatever name you want to put on that. The question is, what is more realistic for you to do? Work 4 years or less, right? Creating $5,000 or more in residual income, that's $60,000 a year. Or save, what's more realistic for you? Or are you able to save $3 to $6 million from your paycheck over the next 4 years? Let me repeat that. Can you, over the next 4 years, okay? Work 4 years or less, creating $5,000 or more in residual income. Is that more easy for you to do, or better for you to do, or maybe, or to save $3 to $6 million from your paycheck over the next 4 years? I would say working 4 years to create 5,000 a month in residual income is much simpler, much easier to do. It takes some time and commitment of that hour, 2 hours a day. You're just working for yourself. Work as hard for yourself as you do other people. Okay? And because most people cannot save $3 to $6 million over the next 4 years, and most people can't save $3 to $6 million over the next 100 years. Okay? But the reality of it is, if you want to retire in a middle class lifestyle and not have money as a concern, you need $3 to $6 million in a safe bank account. End of story. You know, 5,000 residual income is about the same as saving $3 million at the bank and living on the interest. Did you know that? That's the same as having $3 million in the bank and living off the interest. All right? Paying the taxes, etc. 10,000 residual income. Now there's some of you want 50,000. Okay, I understand that, and it's possible. The sky's the limit, really. 10,000 residual income is about the same as investing $6 million at a bank, okay, and living on the interest without touching the $6 million or touching the $3 million. That's the power of residual income. I hope that you stop and think about what I just said. So having 5,000 residual income is the same as having $3 million in your savings account at your bank. 10,000 residual income is the same as having $6 million at your bank, okay? Now, again, I don't think probably you're able to save $3 to $6 million over the next 4 years, right? Like I said, most people aren't able to do that over their entire lifetime, okay? So, how my money machine, you know, we're in a new economy here, folks. We all have computers, we all have smartphones, and we need to turn those into making money for us in residual income, and we can do it. I do not go out of my home office and do meetings. Very rarely, unless it's for coffee or something, and I've been requested to do that. Everything I do is on a computer, and I make a lot of money on the computer. Okay, I've made a lot of money on the computer. In fact, I've made more money on the computer than I have as a financial advisor. Turn your computer into a money machine number 2, okay? And how do you know how to do that? Get back with the person that shared this with you. It's just that simple, all right? Figure that out. Because this money machine pays you around the clock. It isn't on an 8-hour clock like your job. It pays you 24/7. It just keeps going and going and going. And it never runs out. So you decide, after all, it is your life. You can continue down the same trail, work money system number 1, the money machine number 1, and spend your entire life working for money, and then be old and hope that you have enough money. That's basically it. Most people don't. Like I said, those are the facts. Or you can go in system number 2, where money works for people instead of people working for money, and start building that residual income sooner rather than later, and buy back your life and start enjoying your life right away, you know, over the next years. I mean, just investing. All you're doing is investing in your own life. You're investing in your future by creating residual income, and you're able to buy back all your time that you wouldn't have had if you keep working your job. That's just that simple. And you can, again, you can work 40 hours for 40 years, or you can work 4 years or less. It's up to you, okay? And create. And now you get to decide, okay? It's up to you. Which one are you going to do? I mean, you're going to choose one of these. System number 1 or system number 2. System number 1, not enough money, no leverage. These people work 40 hours for 40 years. You see, they're in this system. Or you can go to system number 2 and actually live your dreams and be a money machine number 2 instead of money machine number 1, right? Building that residual income and actually living the life that you want to live. Everybody wants to live that. Nobody wants stress. Everybody wants enough money. Remember, money's the number 1 product of all time. Everybody has some of it. Everybody wants more of it, and everybody's willing to do almost anything to get it. Look at this, willing to do anything to get it. I don't know about you, but I don't think being an old person and going to a job other than maybe having something to do, well, do volunteer work or whatever, right? But they have to go back because of money. Money runs our lives, folks. Quit having money run your life. Build residual income now. Choose wisely for you and your family. pass a legacy on. You know, over here you can't pass on your job to your kids, right? I mean, think about it. Over here you can. Residual income can be passed on as an inheritance, leaving a legacy that could change your family for indefinitely, folks. You can put it in a trust, and it can go on for generations and generations. All right. I hope you got this piece, and I hope you make the right decision for yourself. You know, life is life. I mean, it's the way it is, folks. Like I say, the facts speak for themselves. Now, you got to ask yourself, what are you going to do? So get back with the person that shared this information with you. Find out how you can create residual income in your life and get started now so you can buy back the rest of the time in your life and start doing what you really want to do when you want to do it. And you'll be able to bless a lot of other people in the process, okay? All right, this is Coach Everts. Thank you for your time, and I hope to meet you, and I hope you make the right decision. Take care.